It's your boy GodSpeed, and you're now in tune with Young Atlas.
So, Godspeed, give the viewers a little background on what you do.
Okay, I'm a DJ, overall creative, based out of Queens, New York, Southside Jamaica, Queens to be exact.
How'd you get into, DJing?
So it started. To be honest, I didn't even really have plans on being a DJ. I was a promoter back in the day when like backyard events were like super a thing. This is like me fresh out of high school, senior year, and I don't know. Just back then, I was someone that almost everybody knew. Like I didn't really have problems with anybody. I was just just the one that always had the vibe. So I started these backyard events. And that kind of died down a bit. And then an old friend of mine, he used to have like all this like sound equipment, DJ equipment in his crib. And I don't know, growing up, I was the type of person, I was the type of kid that I loved hardware. Like I loved like just things that just had to do with technology, computers, all types of gaming systems. So when I saw the equipment, like, I just naturally just like, all right, I'm just messing around with it, seeing what's up. And my intent at the time was just to learn how to use it. It wasn't to just like, become a DJ. So at that point, I used to go by DJ K, and that's because my name is Keith. So I went by DJ K, and I just taught myself how to use it, and then I would just go over there like every day after school because I was in college at the time. And then I finally got to learn how to use it. So like just like any regular DJ starting out, I started with like the family events, family friends, like baby showers, birthday parties, things of that nature. And then I just started to get good at it, and then family members were like, "Hey, you should really like get paid doing this like for real." So as I mentioned, I'm from Queens, and I already had like ties with like DJs and promoters just from what I did before, and I just was like, let me just give it a shot. So I DJ. I think I had my first gig at the One Hotel. That was a pretty popping spot in Flushing, Queens, and I did horribly. I did horribly. Like I did bad. I didn't even finish my set just because of how bad I did. I was embarrassed. I just left. And that's where it started. I just went back to the drawing boards, more family events, and then but just a lot of practicing to the point where I was confident enough to play in front of a Queens crowd, because I feel like in Queens the DJ market is super competitive. Like it's a super competitive market, and that's how it started.
Give some people who don't understand what a good DJ versus like an actual, bad DJ. Like there's, I guess in the crowd it looks a lot simpler, but I know behind the ones and twos it's not. So you want to go into that?
I mean, people definitely think that just DJing is just it's just a matter of just blending and mixing music, and honestly, I feel like it's a lot more than that. Like my first gig, it went horribly, and I went back to the drawing boards and just like worked on transitions and learning how to have a DJ voice, because I feel like in a lot of parties, I started off as a promoter and just watching the craft of just like providing the vibes for people, and just a party actually lasting from start to finish, with the same amount of people there. So I feel like definitely crowd control, just having that that DJ voice, and just being confident enough to be like, this is my room. You want to command the room. You want to command the energy in the room at all times, and I feel like that's one of the first parts of DJing. Mixing and blending, of course, like that plays a big part, because I've been in situations where DJs have just played. You go from dance hall to just like the other side of the spectrum. So I definitely think blending and mixing it plays a big part, and I would say just look up. A lot of DJs don't look up when they're DJing. they play for themselves. They're kind of in their own vibe, and like when I'm DJing, I just try to engage with everybody in the crowd. Like I'll just pick that one or two people that's in the crowd, and that I know I just see them vibe, and I'm just like, I just start vibing with them.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, at events, it's like the people the DJ's job is to play to the crowd, not to play what they wanna.
Yeah, for sure.
Play.
Like, and that's what I tell any promoter. Like when a promoter books me, they're like, "Hey, like what do you play? Like da da da." And I'm just like, I play for the crowd, man. You know, at the end of the day, you're booking me to be a DJ. It's not my party; it's your party. So I'm gonna play for your crowd.
Sure. And I mean, let's go into that, like current state of nightlife. So how you've been doing this for what, 5, 10?
So I've been DJing for about 9, 10 years now.
Gotcha.
And but in terms of like me being GodSpeed, because I started as DJ K.
Right.
I was DJ K for a while, and just like things weren't working out for me as a DJ. And I'm just like, I need to be a different kind of DJ. Like, I don't want to be the regular like club DJ or lounge DJ. So I'm just like, I need to think of something different, something new. And I'm just like, I think I was listening to a Frank Ocean song, and he's like, wishing you Godspeed.
Wishing you Godspeed.
And then I'm just like, that's a fire tag. So I actually turned that into a tag for a little while. And I don't know, I'm just like, what does Godspeed mean? Because I've heard it a lot, and I heard it in movies. I think it was like Journey to the Center of the Earth, and I think he said like Godspeed. And yeah, I just looked it up, and I'm just it's guiding someone it's wishing someone, it's good wishes on someone starting a journey. And then I'm just like, all right, I could be DJ Godspeed. I'm guiding the people on a journey through the vibes. Right. So then I'm just like, all right, bet. Like I said, I want to start out and be a DJ that like everyone sees stand out from the rest of the DJs. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to start with basically my debut as Godspeed. I'm going to do a creative visual. So it's going to be a mix along with like me curating the vibe like visually, so guiding people through the mix visually along with sonically. So you can check that out on YouTube as well. That's the Godspeed Experience 1, Volume 1. So I got a lot of my friends that I've met on the scene, and I just put together this visual. And I used to be a lifeguard before, I just started taking things seriously. And being a lifeguard, if like you're just sitting on a pool deck all day, not doing shit. So what I used to do, I used to spend my time doing is just like emailing a bunch of people. So as a part of standing out from other DJs, I wanted to be an artist DJ. So I want to just be in tune with underground artists and like playing their vibes, playing their tracks at these parties, so people get to know them. So they'll come out, they'll bring their people out with supporting me along with me supporting them. So that's just how I started out. Just started inviting like different artists. The first artist I ever DJ for was Lee Paris. He's with me here today. I started DJing with him, and he just showing me the ropes to the industry, and just like him getting different bookings. So I'm just like, all right, I can do this. Just rocking different crowds. And I got in tune with another artist named Stash. He definitely had a great run at the time with this track that he was running, Sticky. So we were like going all over the city. So in that, I was just like, all right, we're going to these different clubs, and we're in like the most popping clubs. At the same time, I'm gonna help myself out. I'm gonna get in tune with these club managers, these club owners, behind the scenes, and just like making sure that I'm shaking everybody's hand, and I'm Godspeed. So I feel like in the end, when me just being consistent with DJing everywhere and meeting these people, that the more and more I'm getting booked, more they see me on different flyers. They're like, wait, I remember Godspeed, or I probably emailed you before in the past, and I feel like that's just how everything connected all together in the end.
How, like for the times that you were going out, like just to give a little bit of a sense of the nightlife culture and some of these spots, like what were some of the first clubs that you were rocking at?
we could say like short stories. We did SNS a lot. Sheesh. There's a lot of SOBs. I used to have a residency at SOBs, and that honestly helped me out a lot too because because I DJed there so often. When artists would come into town, they would and they didn't have their DJ, they would say, "Hey, we have these DJs. These are our like top DJs in the city. You can just choose one." Okay. And I got a couple big bookings. Like I DJ for Mulatto through that. Like, and I wondered. I'm just like, all right. They hit me up one day. Like we have this artist. I didn't even know who she was. And my little sister, I just asked her, and she's like, "Wow, you're DJing for Mulatto?" And just at that point, I'm just like, all right, bet. Well, how did I get this booking? You know, so I asked them. I'm just like, the manager at the time, he's like, listen, we showed them 3 DJs and she chose you. So at that point, I'm like, okay. She looked at my Instagram. So the content that I'm doing at the time, it obviously it's moving people, you know. So that was another thing. I'm just like, all right. Aside from DJing, I want to make sure that my content is together, you know, because at the end of the day, you can't get any bookings if people don't know what you're doing in these clubs and what you're doing in these rooms. So I would make sure that like I would, you know, just be hitting up different videographers. And at first it sucked because, you know, you reaching out to videographers and photographers and those people in nightlife, they know like a lot of people are floppy. I honestly used to say like people don't want to make money, you know?
Yeah.
So I made sure to invest in my own equipment at the same time. I invested in a camera. I bought a Sony A7S so that my content is clear because I'm like, all right, if it's not the best content, as long as it's like the clarity is there and people can actually see what's going on, that's the most important part.
Got you. I like that. So we're gonna run through some kind of like fun questions right now.
Yeah.
Do you think NYC Nightlife is in its peak, or do you think it peaked before, or do you think it's like still going up now? Like what?
Sheesh.
What was the like most fun time for you to go out?
I think before quarantine, before the pandemic happened, nightlife was, in New York City at least, was incredible. I feel like nowadays, I don't think there's any authenticity with a lot of the things that's going on. You know, it just is,
Right.
A lot of these things in these events, they don't scream New York. You know, people are throwing events at like the most well-known places in New York, and it's just like you have hosts that are not from New York. You have DJs that are not originally from New York. You know, so it's just like there's a lot of culture here, and I feel like people are discouraged. Like the native New Yorkers are discouraged by what's happening, and I feel like it needs to be more of a push where we're like, this is New York.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I feel like
When Scarface said, she said, "Get the fuck out of New York."
yeah, I feel like New York is pretty. I don't know, like the best parties are those really diverse parties. I feel like New York is super, not always, but it's kind of super segregated when it comes to nightlife. You know, like
Yeah.
there's not as much of that unity.
It's not, and I feel like I feel like DJing is a competitive market. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it should be, just like how rap is, you know. But the thing is, it's still a place where like if we all collaborate and come together, the money is like, I'm sure a lot of people are in there for the money. There's a lot of money that can be made.
Yeah.
But also the vibes. Like I always tell people, I don't necessarily do it for the money. Let's say if a promoter comes to me and he's like, listen, man, I'm just starting out. I want to build this. I'm building this event out from scratch. I know how it feels to build an event out from scratch. So I'm not going to say like, hey, I want to say this is my rate, but I know you're just starting out. So this is what I can do for you.
Gotcha.
As opposed to someone that, you know, may not be from a part of the culture or understand. It's just like, yeah, this is my rate. I'm not doing it if it's not this. So I like to cater to the culture as much as I can.
Got you. What do you think is the best club right now in the city?
Sheesh. That's a tough one. They're going to have to pay me.
I hear you.
I mean, it depends because, like, I feel like one of the most important aspects to a party is sound.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what a lot of places' downfall is the sound. The vibe can be great, But if the sound is not there, then it's not necessarily a party, you know? So with that being said, I feel like the best club in terms of sound, I'll start there, is Shemansky.
Right.
At least that I've played at, and it's just been consistent, you know? I just feel like in there, you want to walk out of a party feeling like you were just at a concert, you know? And I feel like Shemansky definitely gives that vibe.
All right, so what are some of the top promoters you think in New York right now? So people really delivering great events for New York City. Obviously, you got yourself, but maybe some others.
Obviously GodSpeed. But the GodSpeed experience, of course. I would say, she kind of put me on the spot there, like.
Yeah, we could come back to that, but that's, you know, I think as these questions marinate, it'll come to it. Give some tips for artists, because you work with some. Mm-hmm. I see you work with Cash Cobain and other artists that are dope. Mm-hmm. What are some tips for artists going about the correct way, and maybe also show the wrong way of maybe getting your music out there and approaching DJs to get their records spun?
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like, me being an artist, DJ, I would say the main thing is building a connection with the DJs, you know, because I feel like a lot of artists feel like, all right, I'm going to go to this club. I don't know the DJ. I don't know the promoters. I'm just going to go in there and wing it and just like see if the DJ can play my music. That's not the way to do it. I've gotten people offer me money, $50, $100, $5. I've never taken a dollar DJing or spinning anybody's track. My thing is what I'll do, I'll tell you this, what I do, if somebody just comes up to me and says like, hey, can you play this track? I'll give you money. I'll say, listen, bro, I don't take money at all to play the track. If you airdrop it to me and it fits in my vibe for that night, I'll play the track. But if it doesn't fit in my vibe for that night, there's a slim chance I'm gonna play that track.
Gotcha.
But so, like I said, yeah. I would build a relationship with the DJ. DM the DJ beforehand. Yo, I'm an artist from da 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 da. You know, I would appreciate if you could play my track tonight, or give it a listen, see what you think. You know, just something like that.
For sure.
Build a relationship, and then, you know.
What about, so let's say someone's serious about trying to be a DJ in New York City, and they're trying to get in the market, get their first few gigs. What's a good way of, you know, getting in the game?
In terms of getting gigs, Instagram. Like, Instagram is one of the most powerful platforms right now. So just the power of DMing somebody, and you know, just seeing where it goes. I feel like a lot of promoters, what people don't know or DJs don't know, they're looking for new talent. I know promoters that are looking to get new DJs, but you know, you got to come correct. You can't think that you've been DJing for like a couple months and, you know, that you can be on a main stage. I know DJs that have asked for primetime slots, and you're not a primetime DJ, you know? There's like a difference, you know? I mean, I'm good at knowing my place, you know? So me coming up, I knew I wasn't a primetime DJ. I was running away from the primetime slots. Like, there were people asking me, and I'm just like, no, I'd rather take the 11 to 12, you know? But like I said, just knowing when it's your time, like, just practice. Like, you know, there's a lot of tools that the city offers now. You have private radio, which is a great place for DJs to just vibe out on your own and just learn everything. It's just you and the deck. So
right.
Just, you know? Yeah,
so it's important to really just stay consistent in terms of making sure you're always like on your craft.
Yeah, because even for, like I said, private radio,
yep.
You have the standard setup that almost every club has there. So if you're looking to be a club DJs and at these main clubs, they all have the same setup, that same TDJ setup. So go to Pirate, practice, put the time in, and practice as if you're in these live situations. You know, when I used to DJ and practice in the crib, my little sister used to like make fun of me because I used to be like, you know, just practicing my DJ. Come on, baby, like, you know, just doing our DJ voice and working on that. And that's what it took to be able to be confident in these situations and guide this crowd through the vibes, you know?
For sure. And talking about like the vibes and the parties, give an example of Who are the best type of people to party with? The best type of vibes, and who are those vibe killers? You know, like both sides of that.
I mean, listen. Pre-game before you come to a party. That's first off. Before
Right.
you come outside, and at least you want to come to a GodSpeed set. Either way, it's gonna be a vibe, but it'll be even better just pre-game beforehand. You know, because I feel like a lot of people come to these clubs, and if you don't have the means of buying drinks, pre-game beforehand, you and your friends go to whoever's crib, get you a bottle, then you head to the club. Hopefully,
Right.
that bottle is done by the time you get to the club.
Yeah.
If the bottle is done by the time you get to the club, you're gonna have a great night. Anywhere. You feel me? So that's first things first. Because a lot of people, when you have DJs, I've heard horrible DJs parties, and people are still going crazy. But you know why? They're drunk.
Right.
By 3 a.m., they don't care what is being played. You
Right.
know, of course, you have the people that kind of like know what's going on and love good music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say just getting your vibe. I feel like the people that stand around on the walls and I feel like you just didn't know what you were getting yourself into. You know,
Right.
I love the people that are on the dance floor dancing, making eye contact with the DJs. Then you have the people that are like recording and just like, if you're mixing well, they're recording you do your mixes because they love good music and love good mixing. So yeah, those are the vibes for sure.
When you're just looking to have fun, not professionally, just trying to have a fun night, what are some spots that you like to do? Where do you like to party yourself?
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I don't really party.
Okay.
The thing is, I partied enough. I've been in this nightlife for a while. So, if I'm not DJing, you most likely won't see me outside unless I'm here to support a friend or something.
Gotcha.
But most of the time, I've been outside for
Gotcha.
a while now.
That
you know?
chapter's closed. I hear
Yeah,
you.
that chapter's closed.
I
So
hear
it's
you.
just like if I'm not getting paid or I'm not here to support a friend, you most likely won't see me outside. I like to do calm stuff. I do a lot, but like I said, I'm a creative. So when you see GodSpeed on the flyer, you didn't see DJ before that. I'm God. I go by GodSpeed. It's a lot. It's more than a vibe,
For sure.
for sure.
No, I definitely see that, and we're gonna go through a couple of funny like questions real quick. These are gonna be
cool.
quick rapid questions. Which club in New York has the best wings?
The best wings.
Yeah,
I don't eat chicken, but
I don't eat chicken. Ask the wrong
yeah.
guy.
No, but you're good. Like I go out with I have friends, you feel me? But I don't know. Like that's the thing about New York. That's the thing. Like New York spots don't have wings.
They don't.
They at least in Brooklyn in the city. I know Queens, like they have some vibes. If you go to some of the strip clubs in Queens, you can get right. But that's kind of a thing that we should take up with these clubs out here and these venues because they don't have food past 12 o'clock.
That is true.
You go to the A, you
Yeah.
can get you some good wings.
Starlet's has the good empanadas in there.
Yeah.
That's all right. What's the most overrated liquor in New York City? Would you say
Casamigos.
Casamigos is
I
overrated?
heard that Casamigos is not even real tequila.
I could see.
Somebody research that.
All right, where you have a limited budget. Well, give some tips for someone who has a limited budget, other than pregame. They just pregame. They're trying to go out to a fun night. Could be any day of the week. Give them some tips.
All right, cool. So you paid all your bills. It's the end of the month. You got $100 in your account to last you for the rest of the month. That's for food, groceries. It is what it is. Transportation. But your friend, you have a friend that came from out of town, and she wants to party. He wants to party. Where are you going? Some of the parties a lot of the parties in Brooklyn, I feel like even the culture now is free with RSVP before 11. A lot of places do that. So first off, like I said, if you want to have a good night, you and your friends, y'all ante up on a bottle beforehand because you're not getting that bottle in the club unless you're a DJ. Y'all ante up on a bottle, y'all pregame, right? You want to make sure that you leave the crib by at least 30 minutes before that 11 p.m. So, whatever it is, because it's free RSVP before 11 o'clock. So you guys try to finish the bottle beforehand. Y'all are going to be drunk online getting into the venue just talking about how much fun you're going to have, right? You go into the party. Like I said, you got them for free, but you at least buy one drink. I mean, you should at least have enough money to buy one drink in the club. I feel like, come on, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you look awkward if you're just standing around the club. You've been there from the start. Because it's free. The thing about free RSVP before 11, like I said, get drunk because there's not going to be a lot of people there. I feel like parties don't get lit until around 12, 1 o'clock.
Right.
That's kind of like the peak of the party. So even when you have that primetime DJ, that primetime slot starts at 12 a.m. But yeah, so you want to make sure you can at least buy one drink in the club so that you don't look crazy. And I feel like that's a good night.
Yeah, honestly, it is. And if you're maybe with like one or two,
you spent $20.
Yeah, good people. Like you
$20.
The
most you'll pay for a drink in New York is $20.
Yeah.
22.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
You think bottle service is overrated, underrated?
It depends on what part of the city you're in.
Right.
So the culture is different in different parts of the city. We could start at Queens. Queens, if I was a consumer, I would not want to party in Queens. Okay. And I'm gonna bash Queens for this.
Okay.
You walk into the club, you have security guards that are like complete assholes. They want to try to charge you to get in the club $30 or $40 or $50 to get into a club in Queens. I think that's crazy. Then you have the hookah aspect in Queens, where a lot of the females, even a lot of the men, they like hookah in Queens. I'm not a fan of hookah.
I hear you. I hear you.
To each his own, but yeah, so that's Queens. And then Queens, I think the bottle culture is heavy in Queens. QGTM, Queens gets the money. So you have a lot of people that go to the club, they buy bottles. It's a competition. I think, yes, in Queens, the bottle culture is heavy there.
Right.
You can take it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, I feel like you have a lot of the transplants. You have a lot of the people that come here from out of town that see these flyers, see these parties going on, and they're not looking to buy bottles. They might question the bottle, but like at least with me and promoting and what I've done, people don't really buy bottles in Brooklyn. The culture in Brooklyn, the bottle culture is not
more of like a warehouse vibe.
Yeah, you come through, you buy a drink. I feel like it would probably make more sense to get a bottle just because Brooklyn, I feel like that's where the best parties are, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's where like especially most of the millennials are like having fun in Brooklyn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You have Bushwick, you have Williamsburg. I think Bushwick a lot.
And the most diverse parties are probably in Brooklyn.
Even my friends from Queens, or even my friends that come from out of town, they'll be like, "No, Brooklyn is where it's at."
Yeah, 100%. And rich, poor, everyone, Brooklyn.
Yeah, you can definitely find whatever your vibe is in Brooklyn.
And also, if you're paying if they're charging like $40, $50 at the door, it's like you might as well only go to that club if you're getting bottle service because at least that money's going to something.
That's what
you're
I'm
not just
saying.
throwing out cash at the door.
Literally, unless there's an artist there that you like.
Right.
It makes sense for something like that.
100%. What other than New York? What's your favorite city to? Do you like to DJ out of town?
Yeah, I've DJed in London.
Okay.
I've DJed in Thailand, just in terms of like international vibes. But London, I love London. The culture in London is incredible. Like the white people in London love dance halls, so
right.
That just brings the vibes to a whole nother, like everybody's partying, everybody's dancing, no matter where you go in London. Like the culture is heavy out there.
What do you think about I guess since the pandemic, it's kind of skyrocketed a little bit, like the more, and they have it in London, of the membership type of nightlife vibe. I think like New York is kind of adapting now to that, like the Soho House and stuff. Like
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts.
I honestly, that's what I found out about like just the exclusive vibes. I like it. I feel like finding your community, finding your tribe, that's what it's more about in London.
Right.
And I feel like it's cool at some times, like, when you have like your Dumbo House, your Soho House parties, but it's still like it kind of limits the vibes. You know, it's just like that's not 100% like New York culture, because I feel like then you're kind of breaking it up to into classes. You know, because I feel like you have the people that have memberships at Dumbo House and Soho House, and the average New Yorker, that's not their vibe.
And I don't think the average New Yorker understands that, like, if you're a creative, and you might like have $20 to your name, but you might be a Wall Street banker, and you would think the Wall Street banker has a better shot, but they don't, of getting of becoming a member at that. They want the people that are bringing something different to the table.
Yeah, you know? It's a weird thing because
they purged a lot of those members. You know.
Yeah.
They kicked a lot of those squares out. Yeah,
I definitely know. Even Dumbo House, they started doing a lot of events for like the people that are like non-members.
Right.
TikTok, I guess, got mad at the fact that Dumbo House were like opening their doors to like non-members. So like they did a whole like petition on TikTok. And
interesting. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
But and what are your thoughts? Have you DJed in Miami? Because that's like, you know, a lot of.
I actually haven't. I was supposed to DJ for Art Basel.
Okay.
In Miami, but yeah, I'm definitely interested. There's a lot of places that I'm looking to DJ. I want to DJ in like Spain or Brazil because I like house vibes, like deep house.
Yeah.
Of course, like I know how to just do mix hip hop and like, you know, dance hall and all of that, but like just house music, like Afro house, that just like it's a different vibe, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a different type of partying. Like
those are kind of like those marathon parties.
Yeah, like
but in a good way.
Never
you don't realize the time was like you were there for 6 hours.
Honestly, I definitely want to DJ those. I used to dream about those, like just parties with me, just like 10,000 people, and I'm just standing on a booth, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Craziness.
It's happening very soon. I got some other fun questions for you.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about New York in general right now. Mm-hmm. Name a couple of, if you were mayor of the city, let's say, what are some things you would want to change in New York based on some of the problems that are happening in the city?
That's good. If I was mayor of New York, I mean, they're changing this now, but the rats in New York City is insane.
Yeah, that's a common answer. I hear you. That means
the rats in New York City is the number one answer. Yeah, the rats. But another one I could say is let's see. I would extend this could be for the better or for the worse, but clubs' liquor licenses, they end at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
If they can end at 6 a.m., that would be dope.
Yeah, I feel you. That would be and that could definitely happen in places like the Navy Yard, like that are not close to residential areas.
Because I mean, for the real party goers, we don't hit the club until like 1, 2 a.m.
Right.
More so 2 at least if I'm there. So partying for 2 hours, the first hour is you vibing, but I mean, if we're going to like 6 a.m., that's lit. Like I really want to throw a party that starts at 4 a.m. and ends at 10 a.m.
Yeah, there was this crazy bar. I'm not gonna name any names. That was like open till like 12, and it was just open. It was like owned by cops. It was the most fun spot because all the people who worked in hospitality in New York would just go there after.
Yeah, after their shit. Yeah,
fucking vibe.
Yeah, man. Crazy. I mean, I feel like there's a whole. For people that come into the city from out of town, they don't want to stop partying. When you get a taste of New York, it's just like, it's a drug.
It is.
Me, I would never leave New York.
Yeah.
People ask me that all the time. I would never leave New York.
But also, like, I feel like it's interesting to talk to someone like yourself where people do have misconceptions, though. They would think someone like yourself, oh, you're at the parties all the time. Like, your life must be, like, so fun and lit. But it's, like, very serious. And, like, it's not, like, I feel like it's a good question to maybe ask. Like, what are some common misconceptions that people have? Like,
I mean, let's just talk about relationships.
Yeah.
As a DJ, nobody wants to date a DJ. You know? I mean, nobody wants to date a DJ. You got the misconception that you're outside all the time. But like I said, I only go outside unless I'm getting paid. I've been outside long enough to know, like, I know what I want in my life right now. In terms of GodSpeed and the GodSpeed brand, it's built a name for itself. So I'd be blocking my blessings if I hadn't chased that, you know? Right. And, you know, there's real money to be made in the city. So as a DJ, if you build your name to this point where you're getting these certain gigs and you're asking for this rate, I'm not going outside unless I'm getting this amount of money. Right. You know? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a misconception in terms of relationships. Another thing is just being as a you know, I feel like as a DJ, you have to bring the same energy every time. You're only as good as your last set. Right. You know, so if I've had people that have told me, yeah, that set wasn't all that. And I appreciate the honest feedback. Yeah. But I've had people be like, yo, that was the best set yet. But you just said that about my last set, you know? Right. So it's like, I feel like you just have to bring that energy every time, you know, bring that same energy. People love Godspeed. People love the smiles. People love the energy. So, you know, it's tough a lot of the times if I had a bad day. I had a long-ass day. Just things have happened back to back. And then tonight I have to DJ a party and be in front of 300 people tonight. It doesn't seem like a lot of people, but, like, you know, I'm a person. I'm a human being. So we have bad days. And it takes a lot to just shape up and get into this vibe to want to please people and make people feel good, you know?
Yeah, you can't just, like, clock out. You have to.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because that could literally block other blessings.
It doesn't stop. So that's why I just try to, like, even, like, the people that I keep in my circle, I keep my circle tight. Even when I started out, I was going to these venues alone. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that they have to have this, like, entourage, and being a DJ is, like, this cool thing. And it's like, we're here to play music. Yeah. You know, we're here to make these people happy and just have everybody walk away happy with an experience. Like, I love New York, or I love that party, or I love that DJ. You know, so going outside alone, like, I really got to just know myself and just know, like, all the other shit didn't matter, you know?
For sure. At the end of the day, you're doing a performance, and it's not about you. It's about that person that spent the $20 or, you know, bought the bottles to have that experience. You're trying to deliver for them, you know? Even,
like, I feel like just the culture of, like, promoters, I feel like a lot of promoters think that DJs are now the promoters. Yeah. If you're a promoter, you're promoting your party. You do the promotion, right? Yeah. I don't even necessarily have to post your flyer. Yeah. It's really a courtesy that DJs post flyers. Yeah. DJs are not promoters. DJs are there to DJ for your people. You know? It's a plus that we post that we're on the flyer, but they're there for you.
For sure. And that's how a lot of DJs, you know, like yourself, you know, that's how they get started. So then that could kind of box them in, because it's like, I was able to open up for Godspeed because I can bring 20 people to the party. Exactly. And now you're adding value. Exactly. You also have to realize, like, you could box yourself in that way.
I know DJs that kind of, like, don't even DJ for other promoters anymore because they have their own they have their own flow. Right. It's like, why would I DJ for your party for a couple $100 when I could throw my own party on the same day as your party and make thousands? Right. You know, so it's like, it's a tough thing in New York City. Like I said, there's a lot of money to be made here.
No, definitely. And I got just a few more questions for you. Sure. Let's just talk about some artists that, you know, you're rocking with right now. Talk about, you know, we can talk about some local cats who you're working with. Put us on the radar with some of the
of course, you'd like us to look out for. You mentioned Cash Cobain.
Yeah. Shout out to Cash, he's dope.
Yeah, I work with Cash Cobain. He's a great person, and that's another thing. Like, don't fold as a person. You know, just because you see this person and they're a star, and don't get treated like crap in any situation because, you know, you want to be a part of their journey. So that's the first thing. Like I definitely rock with genuine people.
Yeah.
If I mess with an artist, that's because we have a genuine level of respect. You know, because I feel like artists have this like thing where I'm the shit, and you know, everybody's beneath me. You know, but yeah, Cash Cobain, he's a great dude. I started rocking with him about like 4 or 5 years ago. As I mentioned, I started out just playing artist music. So I used to run this during quarantine. I used to do this like underground party. It was in a basement, and yeah, one day I just asked him to come through, and you know, Cash is originally from the Bronx, but he's made a big name for himself in Queens. So I'm from Queens. That's my culture, and I feel like he brought that to Brooklyn a bit. So I'm just like, along with me, let me just bring in Cash Cobain on this. So I used to always, from then on, just play all his tracks at the parties, and I feel like he just appreciated that. You know, he didn't have the light that he has now, but I feel like I kind of just introduced him to just the Brooklyn vibes, and that there's another, you know, there's just more out here. So us just going and just keeping that same momentum, you know, his music speaks for itself. You know.
Now I was at a party and they put some Cash on. The crowd was really like.
Yeah, honestly, I've been, like I said, I've been playing Cash for a while,
Right.
and it's always done something.
Yeah.
You know, it's always made people move. But even like I said, just starting out, I started out, the first artist I DJ for was Lee Paris, and yeah, just that journey, through the music, through him being signed, and us just doing like label shit and just getting like, you know, just hitting the ground running. Like we were like just outside every weekend, you know, just getting booked for shows. We went on tour with Cody Shane. That's how I got in tune with Cody.
Okay.
Yeah, and just doing dope shit, you know, because I feel like the journey, especially in this industry, is definitely fun. But you just always got to make sure that you keep like genuine people around you, you know, because at the end of the day, it feels like you could be having fun, but if you know genuinely that this person that you've been with the last couple weeks really doesn't give a fuck about you, you know, it's just like, what are you really doing it for?
Yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of people like kind of get burnt out, confused, or just get like lost in the sauce a little bit, especially in this game, because it's kind of eventually it becomes hard to decipher like the real from the fake in this game.
Relationships.
Yeah.
I say like that was my biggest thing in this is just keeping healthy relationships.
No, definitely. And speaking of that, like and going outside, and I feel like even like you kind of talked on it a little bit earlier, but it's like I feel like it's getting a little overrated. Like, oh, I'm outside, all this. Like,
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be outside. Like, I feel like the requirement for artists, like, you got to be outside. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to hit 5 clubs a night, like, to be a success.
No, for sure.
Like, there has to be a balance. Like,
I feel like you just have to be at the right place at the right time. And I tell my artist Lee all the time, like, you don't have to be everywhere. You know, like let's say if there's an event this weekend, there's 3 events this weekend. If you know that there's just gonna be a regular crowd, it's a regular party, and there's no networking opportunity, there's not anyone that you might meet there, there's not a crowd that's there for you to hear your music, then you shouldn't be there.
right.
You know, as opposed to something that might be industry based, like if a label throws something or if another artist is throwing a party, you want to go and support that artist because you would possibly want him to come and support you. I feel like that's what this industry is mostly about, is supporting each other. Because a lot of artists have this thing where they might start getting big and they might get a buzz, but he didn't rock with me 6 months ago, or this person didn't rock with me. I try not to have that mentality with people, just because it's like we can't be everywhere at the same time. It's just like at the end of the day, there's so much music that everybody listens to. He might have found out about your music last week and is a genuine fan this week, So I just think that people should appreciate the little things and those little people that care, for real.
No, for sure. Like the quality over quantity.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that makes sense. And a couple more I'd like to also ask. Like, not all, but I guess there's kind of a stigma around promoters. Like they kind of get a bad rap sometimes. Like,
oh yeah.
What's up with that? Because I've met a lot of good promoters, and
I feel like it's different sides of that too, because it's like from a consumer side. Let's say you have janky promoters that that are like money hungry. I feel like you should always want to have an incentive for your people. If you really care about the people and you're not here, you're here for the vibes along with the money, but the vibes are the most important part because you want people to enjoy the experience from the time that they walk in.
Right.
Security. If security, like I said, you go to Queens, you have securities that are assholes. And I might kill somebody's vibe. I've had nights where I've gone to the club and just wanted some regular shit. And the security guard is just an asshole. Yeah. And it's like, that just ruined my vibe. I kind of want to go home. Yeah. So in terms of promoters, I just feel like you just have to be for the people. That's your main thing. If you're chasing the money, you kind of end it for the wrong reasons.
For sure. And I feel like some people also don't understand the back end of the business and like how expensive some of these,
the other side of
it. Like these promoters, bar tabs are.
In terms of payment, now you have the other side, the back end, where you're booking DJs and you're booking hosts. Like I said, I've been on the promoter side, so right. I feel like the average time in terms of payment, that's how you can go south with a promoter. If you feel like a promoter hasn't paid you in time, the average payout should be 7 days.
Yeah, a week after the event.
At least me.
Right.
I'm gonna give you a 7-day grace period, and then I'm gonna send you that text like, yo.
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Keep that communication. If you know that the money comes in on Friday, just let them know. Like, listen, they told me that the venue told me this, that, and third. Just keep that communication. A lot of promoters feel like they need to be running from people and, oh shit, this person is down my neck for this money, and it's just like, just be honest with people.
Yeah, you should always be a step ahead, and if you owe anyone anything, like, they shouldn't be having to communicate with you. Like, you owe me this. Like,
yeah, because realistically, a promoter's not, also on the other side, like a promoter's just not going to pay you out of pocket. Depending on the caliber. I mean, that should be how it is. Like, if I do this event, of course, I want to get paid. I want to get paid when I get there. If I did the service, I want to get paid right after that, But a lot of these promoters, which makes sense, they're waiting on the venues for the venue to come in with that money, or Eventbrite, it has to hit, because like if I booked you for this party, you might have to wait for the money from this party.
For sure. Yeah, there's definitely
that's a thin line where it can get kind of shaky with promoters.
Yeah, there's other variables.
Back to that question in terms of who's the best promoters, and I would say Beautiful Faces.
Okay, give them a shout out.
So Beautiful Faces, I'm part of the Beautiful Faces team. Shout out to Beautiful Faces. They've come out and been out for about 2 years now. It really started as a photo-based party. Shout out to Wole and Kyle Rhodes. It started as a photo-based party, and it just turned into black culture.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm gonna say, just black culture.
Gotcha.
If you go to a Beautiful Faces event, you just see nothing but beautiful people, dressed nice, good vibes, good music. So definitely Beautiful Faces.
When is their events?
They've done 3 events so far. It's kind of they just post. They don't have like a calendar, but they just post, like, rotate. You just have to like look out for it. Gotcha. That's kind of a thing.
So I'll be on the lookout. Beautiful Faces. For
yeah,
sure.
Beautiful Faces. Definitely look up that Instagram. You'll see the faces are there.
Gotcha. For sure. And just honestly, like one or two more questions. Yeah. Tell us about anyone, like, people that have been pushing the culture forward that you like to use this time to maybe give a shout out, give their flowers to.
Sheesh. I mean, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I mean, shout out to just everybody, because I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. I don't.
All right, let me ask you another question, because this was the next one that I had, and maybe I did the order a little wrong, but
no, you're good.
I feel like there's like a lack of, not always, but there's definitely some unity in New York, but there's also like, it's kind of like a big high school, and there's like a lot of just people fighting over the same nickel instead of putting a nickel together.
And that's why it's hard to answer that question, because it's just like, if I leave somebody out, if I don't say somebody,
right? Yeah,
we're from New York. Somebody's gonna feel away.
Yeah, Yeah. No, I hear you. That's the smart one.
So
But
it's
why
like,
is that though? I feel like that holds our city back a lot.
it does, but it's just like, I mean, it's just a lot of ego in this shit. I
Yeah.
feel like everybody from New York, I'm the shit. Like,
Right.
if an artist comes into town, it's just like, who the fuck is he? It's just like, everybody feels like they're a star, and as you should. But I feel like that's just what makes New York, New York.
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just like, I feel like if it wasn't so competitive, would it be as fun as it is?
No, you're right. You're right.
Because you have a different party popping up every week, a different DJ, a different promoter. So, I mean, I just want to shout out everybody. I feel like everybody that shows me love. I always say, if you love me, I love you.
Word. Yeah.
Plain and simple. If I walk into a room, I greet everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who walks into a room and doesn't greet everybody, I'm kind of shaky about you.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's like when we go back to school. Your teacher said, at the beginning of the year, you start at 100% in my book. Everybody in my book, you start at 100%. Anything that you do after that, that's what's gonna bring you down.
Yeah.
I got respect for everybody.
No, I hear that, and I also wanted to ask in terms of, I guess, what are some exciting things that are coming up? Like, I guess we're at pretty much the halfway point, a little faster this year.
The summer is going.
What's the goal for GodSpeed to accomplish this year?
I mean, I just want to keep pushing the GodSpeed experience. I appreciate everyone that comes out to my events. I throw a lot of events, and a lot of people don't even know that it's a GodSpeed event, and I kind of like it like that. I'm in this industry for a good time, not a long time. So as long as I can throw an event and post something up, and it gets 300 people out, it gets 400 people out, I'm happy. So in terms of the rest of the summer, even just the rest of my journey, I'm gonna keep throwing parties as long as I can. I'm gonna keep DJing as long as I keep getting booked. I just started this new series called BK Social House, which is kind of like a Brooklyn brownstone immersive experience where we have the ticket gets you open bar, a live band, live performances, DJ sets by like some of the dopest DJs in New York City. So yeah, BK Social House. That's my next journey.
When's that?
I just threw my first event this past weekend, and it was amazing. I had
Congrats.
we're capping it at 50 people max.
Okay.
For the first one, I had about 35 people there, and it was great. I run the event out of my house, my own home, because I also, a lot of people don't know, I own a co-living company.
Okay.
So I do real estate. Co-living is basically a shared housing arrangement. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of foreigners that come into town, foreign exchange students, people that are here for internships. And how it started is my mom, she bought these properties about 20 years ago. And during quarantine, we were about to lose one of the properties. And I just was kind of thinking of ways to help my mom out. So at that point, I put my energy into it 100%, and we turned it into a co-living space. And now we have a community of over 300 people now that have stayed with us. We do short-term lease agreements.
Gotcha.
And we're just pushing that community forward.
Now that's smart. I mean, that's like kind of what we were talking about a little off camera, like the affordable housing crisis in New York is wild.
And co-living is actually a form of affordable housing.
Right, it's a good solution.
It's all utilities included in this monthly rent.
Okay.
We start at $1,400, and our most expensive room is $2,100.
Got you. So you got a lot of you got your diversified,
Yes, and that's where the BK Social House came in. I throw events for the community as well, so we do game nights, movie nights, and BK Social House was an idea that I had on the co-living aspect side, but I want to kind of clash both the GodSpeed culture and my day-to-day business, and kind of just push this community forward.
Nice.
Allowing people to find their tribe and just network and meet new people. One
of the ways we like to end things here is if you could maybe shout out any black-owned businesses that are doing their thing in New York. So, you know.
Sheesh, let's see. I know a lot of black-owned businesses. Of course, this clothing brand, Entrepeneur Module. Shout out my boy Jairus. I told myself that this whole summer I just want to rock all my friends' clothing, support all my friends. So shout out Entrepeneur Module. What else we got? Shout out Well Engineered.
Okay.
If you checked out my On the Radar mix, you could see that I was in that Well Engineered. So shout out to my boy Adaze at Well Engineered.
On the Radar mix was dope, by the way. I forgot to bring that up.
I appreciate you. That was on the On the Radar mix was basically me showing everyone that I'm not just a hip hop DJ or dance hall, whatever you kind of categorize me as. I'm just GodSpeed.
You said your favorite is more the deep tech house, like your.
Yeah, I like Afro house. I
Afro
like house just because that's what I grew up on. Like my grandmother back in the day, just watching her dance in the living room and listening to those sounds. That's where it really came from. So it kind of brings back a nostalgic feel when I'm mixing those vibes.
Got you. 5 years from now, what's GodSpeed gonna be up to?
5 years, sheesh. As I told you, I just want to be on the top of that DJ booth, 10,000 people, just like
Selling that arena. I hear that.
You know,
Yeah.
Shit, maybe Brooklyn Mirage.
Yeah. That's a sick venue.
I saw Black Coffee there, right? And I'm just like, how much is a ticket to see Black Coffee?
Yeah.
Tickets at $90. I'm just like, wow.
Right.
Imagine a venue that holds almost 20,000 people, and 20,000 people could pay $90 to see GodSpeed.
Exactly. Because what? Black Coffee's getting probably like $500,000, $250,000. Like they gotta pay
Sheesh.
him. You know, like
It's insane.
yeah. So
Just to do what you love to do,
Right.
you know? And that's why, honestly, I wouldn't stop doing DJing and just providing everybody with a vibe and just a GodSpeed experience, because this is just what I love to do. I love people.
for sure.
You know, and I feel like DJing is also, you have to be a people person, you know. You have a personality aside from being behind that DJ booth. You have something, so I want to push that forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a good moral of this interview is like, you know, obviously the currency and making money is important, but the vibes are supreme, and that's going to take you to the next level.
It's more than the vibe. That's been my slogan from the start. It's more than the vibe.
I like that.
For sure.
Well, let the people know where they can follow you, and
You can follow me on Instagram at godspeed.nyc. As I mentioned, BK Social House. You can come to our next event. Kind of an intimate experience at BK Social House. I appreciate you, Young Atlas, for having me.
of course, thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Godspeed signing off.